Hi guys, Bolt here once again with yet another battle group overview. Today we're looking at the 15th Infantry and we will also be looking at my personal build of this deck. So you guys can try it out. So, yeah, the British are here on the Eastern Front. Doesn't make too much sense, but I guess it's fun to play with them once in a while. It does definitely need some balancing overall. But yeah, anyways. So in Recon tab, we have the Recce squad. It's a two-man recon team with two Sten SMGs. Very good, exceptional stealth, very high optics. Just an overall good recon to like do some sneaky flanks with. Because don't expect these guys to hold their own. And there's also a lot of different types of vehicles. You can go from a Willis to basically like a carrier like this, all the way down to a Bedford, or just even like a CMP, a weird looking, really fast truck. We have the Humber Mark III. This is a nice fast recon, 80 kilometers per hour with a 50mm autocannon. No HE. It does have AP shells on the autocannon. Yeah, but the other thing is just a bullet, so it can also engage infantry. And it has a 7.92mm machine gun. Decent range on the autocannon. Pretty good range on the machine gun, like any other recon, but or any other machine gun. But it's also really fast off-road. And you can get quite a lot of these. So if you want to do some like sneaky flanks or just support your infantry on the front, this might be the thing. We got some scouts, 4-man team with 2 Stens and 2 Lee Enfields. Very high optics, exceptional stealth. Once again, every infantry comes in a wide variety of vehicles. Overall good recon to use. We got a wheelless HMG with a 50. Definitely thinking of putting these in here. 50 cals are super powerful. We got a scout 4-man team with a Piat bazooka. Really good, well, pretty good range, not the best, but really high rate of fire, 7 rounds per minute. 2 Stens and 2 Lee Enfields. Lots of vehicles. We got a sniper team, 2-man squad with a Lee Enfield at 1,000 meters range. 11 rate of fire on that. We got the SOD armored vehicle with a Piat, which I have actually not looked into too much. This might be a really fun vehicle to use. Just to support like your tanks with. That is a really interesting thought. We got a Daimler AC. Now this one is a tank like a recon with a 40mm tank gun, so 40mm cannon on that. Pretty powerful. It does also have a machine gun, but that's not listed in here. Might be a bug, I'm not quite sure. Yeah, 40mm cannon, max range, good accuracy, decent penetration, good for supporting. Definitely good for supporting. Humber Mark IV, I've used this quite a bit. 37mm, good range, decent accuracy and penetration I would say, but also has HE shells and a 7.92mm machine gun. So pretty good actually. And the stealth is bad, so anything that is a vehicle probably has bad stealth. So if you do a flank, apart from this guy, he's very bad stealth. If you try to do a flank with these vehicles, make sure it's like in a forest, like a thin forest. Yeah, speaking of, AEC Mark III with a 75mm cannon, good range, good penetration, good accuracy, and also has a 30 cal. It's probably the coolest looking vehicle in here. Infantry tab, not a lot and pretty weak. So we have the defense group. This is a 5-man squad, rifle squad. As the name suggests, good at defending with the 2 Bren machine guns, LMGs, 750 range, 10% accuracy, really good rate of fire, because it's 2 I guess, and 3 Lee Enfields. So all at 500 meters plus range. We got an engineer leader, 2 Stens, 3 Lee Enfields and some TNT. So good against, well, it's a leader, don't expect to push with it, but it does have grenades. 9 squads of rifles. This is basically the backbone of your infantry tab, if you do choose to go the infantry route. Lots and lots of rifles. 2 Stens, 7 Lee Enfields and a Bren. So pretty decent. Field engineers. Basically the same as the leader. Stens, Lee Enfields and TNT. Motorized rifles, and these come with bazookas, the Piat and the Bren. You don't get a lot of them in A, but you can whip out 8 of them in phase B. I would probably go for the lowest VATs if you go for, well, any scenario, because you only have 1 card of these. Assault Pioneers, Stens, Flamethrower, and also smoke grenades, which is really interesting. And we have a rifle leader. So the infantry tab definitely is about just spamming anti-infantry. You got 9 cards of these. Yeah. Tank tab. A lot of supportive tanks. I've actually built this deck to be like an armored deck to support my infantry, funny enough, but we'll get to that. Honey Stewart, 37mm cannon on it, the M5 and two 30 cals. Pretty, yeah, it's a light tank. Don't expect to kill any King Tigers with it, unless you get into the rear maybe. The Churchills. Now this one has the 75mm. Really good accuracy on it. Max range. 90mm penetration. Good armor in general on the front. And two 7.92mm machine guns. So pretty good. Really slow. All of the Churchills are slow. We have the command variant of this. We also have the Churchill 4 command. There we go. Yeah, I need to get used to those letters. The command version, the 57mm, 6-pounder, really good penetration because of those APCR rounds, and the AP rounds are 115. So in general, this is actually a really good tank. 90mm front armor and 7.92mm machine guns. So yeah, that is basically this Churchill with a 75-pounder. Actually no, I was gonna say it has the same values, but it doesn't. It has a 75-pounder, but it's only AP rounds, no APCR. 90mm penetration, very, very accurate, and 150mm front armor. Definitely a brawler on a battlefield, while your Churchill 4s take out the tanks in the back. 175mm. You can actually just build an armored deck with this. If you put in two of these, and like these guys to defend, that's all you need. And that's in Phase B. You could even make this like a Phase C armored deck. In the support tab, we have 2-inch mortars, 50 mils, really close range. Good at rate of fire though, really good rate of fire. Really slow if you unload them, so do you actually, I was gonna say get them into an armored vehicle if you want to move them around, but you don't have that option actually. Vickers HMG, better than spitting on the enemy I guess. 1000 meters range, 5% accuracy. We got the Wasp Mark II, flamethrower carrier, 160 meters range. If you want to piss off the enemy, this is the way to do it. Willis Supply, Bedford Supply, Churchill 5 assault gun. Really good blast and suppression on this one, 95mm. So it is like 160 and 2200. If you compare that to the tanks, yeah, you don't really get anywhere close with the blast. It's all below that. So that one definitely does more damage to like lightly armored vehicles or infantry like that. Commander in A, and also this guy has pretty good armor. Yeah, rate of fire is 1 per 10 seconds. We got an A-phase commander. We got a crocodile, they're back. So this is basically a tank that has a good tank anti-tank gun, 60% accuracy, max range, 90mm penetration, but also has a flamethrower, which is at 160 meters range. And I've used it quite a bit. It's really fun to play with this. We got the Dingo commander. Pretty fast. I mean, it's a commander. We got the AVRE. It's finally back. Really reduced range, 500 meters on the 290mm, and it with one shot it takes out the building. It removes the building completely. We'll get the Sherman 5, and this is a commander. In the anti-tank, really good. We got some Piat squads here, 2-man squad with a 200-meter ranged Piat, 150mm penetration. 6-pounders, really good AT guns, APCR rounds hitting a tank at max range with decent accuracy and 175mm penetration, so definitely put these in there. And you can get quite a few in Phase A. Well, 3 on mid-vet, 6 on Phase B, and 9 in Phase C. 17-pounder is back from Steel Division 1 as well. It's definitely the heaviest hitter AT gun, apart from the Pack 43. And you get a decent amount in later phases. But yeah, max range, 170mm pen, 8 rounds per minute. That is pretty good. And also we have the Achilles. 170mm pen, really good gun. It's basically the 17-pounder gun. As you can see, yeah, it is actually the 17-pounder gun there with AP rounds. But it is armored, so look at it as a self-propelled 17-pounder. In the AA, lots of AA, so you can play a really supportive task, which I actually haven't done yet, but I do plan on just playing support and getting nothing but like AA, artillery, and support units and recon and supplies and all that stuff. But yeah, Self-propelled artillery with 4 of these 7.92mm machine guns. You could probably use this to kill infantry as well. 1500 meters range, which is pretty sick for a machine gun. Yeah, pretty good. Really fast on and off-road. Got a CMP Polston. 2000 meters range on that 20mm. Basically a gigantic Bren rifle. Crusader AA Mark II with two 20 mils, I believe. It doesn't say here. Oh, it does, okay. Yeah, 20mm autocannon, 2000 meters range. Really good blast radius, decent depression. It'll smash. Tri-Polstons are back. These were the ones in Steel Division 1 where you could snipe planes with ease. Really good, actually. Still, 2000 meters range. It's insane rate of fire. Blast and suppression is about the same as the Crusader. Actually, a little bit better on the suppression. Bofors, good AA. No other words needed. You get 2 of them in phase A mid-vat as well. Yeah, 40mm autocannon, 2500 meters range. Even better suppression. And then last we have the Crusader AA Mark I. 2500 meters range. Suppression and blast are the same as the Bofors, but it's self-propelled and armored. Artillery spotters, 5-man team, artillery observers. We got a leader that you can get out. 3-inch mortars, 81 mils, 3000 meters range, decent rate of fire. Just mortars are good in general, but I would go for the 107 mil in this case. Definitely much better. 4400 meters range as well. We got the 25 pounder, 87.6mm. Quite an odd millimeter, I guess, but they just went for the pounds. It can fire anywhere on the map. Really good accuracy, actually. I've not noticed that. It's better than the actually, no, I was going to say better than the 140 in terms of accuracy, but it isn't. So that's interesting. And speaking of the 140, yeah, it's a step up. Obviously. Does more suppression and blast, and everything else is the same. So, if you think about it that way, it does more suppression and blast, but you get 2 less for mid-vat. So if you just get 4 of these to fire at the same time, it'll do more damage than 2 of these at the same time. That's how I look at it, I think. We got an off-map observer, the Churchill OP 140 mil, and we also have the 203 mil observer. In the air tab, we have the Oster Mark III, and interestingly, this guy here, if you move it to the front line, it gives you that sphere of influence where you can like correct fire with your artillery. So definitely do use those and get this guy in your battle group. Spitfire Mark, what is that, 11? I don't know, I'm not good with ladder numbers above like, I don't know, like 12 I guess I can count up, but I bet that's 12. I don't know what it is. I guess you guys are gonna like comment that 27 times in the description. But yeah, we have this Spitfire here. We got 3 of them, 2 20 mils and 2 50 cals. 3 cards. Absolutely insane. And the counter part of it, the Tempest Mark V here, with the 4 20 mils. They all have the same rate, the range. Like the 50 cals and the 20 mils all have the same range. So it really depends. I would say the Tempest Mark V is good for intercepting and killing in like a head-on-head run. The Spitfires might be better in a dogfight because the 50 cals do have a higher rate of fire and might suppress more. And then the 20 mils will actually kill. I'm not quite sure, but they're both really good. Yeah, they're both really good. We got a Typhoon here, Mark 1B, fighter bomber with 2 110 kilogram HE bombs and 4 20 mils. And then a Tempest, we've already went over this, and they both are really fast. The Tempest actually goes 680 kilometers per hour. That is absolutely insane. Yeah, Typhoon 1 Mark B with the 230 kilogram bombs and 4 20 mils again. We have the ground attack Typhoon with the 8 rockets. Definitely get those. And then we have the Tank Buster Typhoon. Amazing plane. Okay. Let's see here. Let's go through our selection. So in the recon tab we have the 2-man squad recce's here in phase A, mainly to try to flank around or just be like a really stealthy recon somewhere. We have a recon vehicle. We went for the Humber Mark III because of its autocannon. This kind of depends on your playstyle, I guess. But I might just for the memes change it to this guy. and then see if I can take down tanks with this. In the phase B we have the scouts with the Piats. This is mainly to support my infantry because it lacks anti-tank weapons. And it is also just a good recon. It's a 4-man squad, exceptional stealth and everything. In the infantry tab, I made some adjustments after playing with this for a few times. 2 cards with rifles. And you might say, why don't you get the motorized rifles in phase A? Well, you don't get a lot of them. And in the anti-tank I have the anti-tank infantry. So I have 2 cards of these. On the mid-vet, I have 1 card of these engineers, and I have 1 card of leaders. And that is all I got. The assault pioneers, I kind of just gave up on them. The Soviet ones are just better. They just wreck you every time. Whenever I meet enemy flamethrowers, I usually just fall back and RD them, stun them, and then move in. It seems like the only viable solution to them, really. Because they will win. I've had 2 of these guys against 1 of them and they lost. But yeah, it depends on your playstyle, like I would say. And we also have some leaders here with the Piats in phase A. In phase B we have more rifles, 12 units, and we have the motorized rifles as well. That is it. Like for an infantry deck, that is actually pretty weak, I would say. I go a lot fire supporty, but I could remove the Achilles here and possibly get 1 more card of infantry. But I've noticed that Achilles is sometimes you need that firepower. Like you do have the Churchills with the 175. So yeah, in this case, if we remove that, we get 1 more card of infantry. And in that case, I would probably get the assault pioneers in A phase. Or if I get them in B phase, I get 8 of them. But in A phase, you get 4 on the mid-vet. And yeah, that way I guess everyone is happy. That should do it. There you go. Yeah, C phase, I'm not gonna push anything with infantry at that point if I haven't taken over the town. That's basically it. But yeah, one way you could also do this is probably remove 1 of these rifles and put them in C phase. That way you have 1 rifles, 1 field engineer, and 1 assault pioneer, and 1 rifle leader. So that gives you 12, 16, 17, 18, 19 infantry units in phase A. But yeah, they're cheap, they're good to spam out and line up the front line basically. In the tank tab, Honey Stewards to help out with my infantry, really fun tanks to play with. We also have the Churchill for command in A phase, and we also have the Churchill for tanks. These are the heavy hitting ones. So, and we have only the heavy hitting ones. They're really, from what I've seen is, with these guys I use to snipe enemy incoming tanks and support my infantry. So I do want like a really strong gun. But one way you can balance this out, once again, up to you, is by getting either the Churchill, this Churchill here, or getting the slightly cheaper Churchill, because the main difference between these guys for 10 points is the APCR. And that is basically it. You just get APCR rounds. But the 90-point one is better armored. And compared to the 60 is, yeah, just weaker in the gun. That's basically it actually. You do get the same amount. Which is an interesting thing. But yeah, you get 5 of these in A phase. I put them on the lowest pet because of their really good accuracy in general. Just to make sure I have enough of these. And in B phase I have them on mid-vet. Because they're good guns and just to roll them out on the battlefield constantly. But yeah, now that I think of it, also if you go for these guys in phase B you only get 2, whereas you get 7. So yeah, it's a no-brainer I would say. Support tab, we have the Vickers, HMG in A phase, supplies in A phase, we have Commander in A phase, 2 Crocodiles in A phase, lowest pet, really good at killing infantry, 2 AVREs in A phase, also once again good at stunning everything. Supplies in phase B, and in phase B we also have the Churchill with the assault gun. It just does more suppression and blast against everything. So these would be good to support your main tanks. And also I've used these to snipe like enemy AT guns, and they really do a good job with that. Okay, yeah, in the anti-tank, Piats to support my infantry in the beginning in A phase, because I did lack a lot of anti-tank weapons. We also have the 6-pounders in A phase mid-vet, and in phase B we have the 17-pounders mid-vet. I would say this deck definitely lacks anti-tank and possibly infantry. You could balance this out by removing either some AA or removing some support units like the Vickers HMG, but I've definitely been enjoying using those. 1,000 meters range, whereas the infantry has 750 meters range. So one might wonder, is it worth spending 3 points on that? And probably the answer is no. So in that case we could get some more infantry. Would that be a good idea? That's the thing. Or we could get more tanks. Yeah, now you see my struggles. So we do have a commander in A phase. We could either get another commander or just be really careful with this one. And just make sure we link it up, I guess. But since we're playing an infantry deck, yeah, let's get the defense groups in A phase. These guys are good. 2 Bren rifles. There you go. It's only a 5-man squad, but it'll do. So yeah, then we have 2 rifle teams, the defense squad, field engineers for anti-infantry, assault pioneers, leaders, and in B phase is mainly just to reinforce. Yeah, that should do. In the anti-air, 2 Bofors in A phase, 2 Tripolstons in B, and 2 Crusader AA Mark 1s. Artillery, we have the 40 4.2-inch mortar. We have the commanders in B phase to help with the lack of commanders in B phase in the infantry tab. And we have 4 of these 140s. Now that is kind of where that comes back in. So we could take these out and go for the 87.6 mils in B phase. The main difference here is the suppression and the blast that the 140s have. And I've noticed that as long as you have a commander on the front line, these guys will be really accurate, and that way you can shoot a few times and then get out. Yeah, I'll just stick to these. They've proven really valuable. In the air tab, we have these recon planes. I just love recon planes. We have 2 Tempest Mark 5s in A phase, 2 Typhoon Mark 1Bs in A phase as well with the HE rockets, 2 Spitfires in B phase, mid-vet, and 4 of these Typhoons in C phase with the anti-tank rockets. They're so good. They're really good. But yeah, that was it, guys. I hope you enjoyed and hope that this was kind of interesting to you. Check out the code linked down below, and I'll see you guys back in the next one. So take care.